Now before we get started, I would really love it if you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can get the latest content from the YouTube channel, The Last Rewind. And don't be shy about leaving your comments at the bottom of the page because you are the sole reason why this channel will be successful. Thank you. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to The Last Rewind. Today, we're going to be talking about LeBron James' recent achievement, scoring 40,000 plus points as the all-time leader. Well, he was the all-time leader last year when he passed Kareem. He just keeps adding on to the number, you know. Now we're just going to wonder, like, is he going to make it to 43,000? Is he going to make it to 45,000? And seems like if he's waiting on his son to get to the NBA, I don't know if that's happening next year or not. But if he is, then he may well get to 43,000. He might get to 45,000. It seems like LeBron is piling on these numbers to help his case for being the GOAT. And there was an interesting conversation on First Things First between Chris Broussard and Nick Wright. And Nick Wright, you know, he loves him some LeBron James. I mean, he loves it. I mean, I wonder if he gives him a birthday card, Valentine's Day card. He probably was there at the birth of each of his sons. LeBron maybe returned the favor and came to his children's birth and christened the children. I don't know, but he loves him some LeBron. Sometimes it's kind of scary. Chris Broussard seems to be a little bit unbiased. You know, he loves Jordan over LeBron when it comes to that argument, but he seems to be kind of fair when he comes with his critique of why he thinks Jordan is better than LeBron. But then, you know, otherwise he does give a lot of praise to LeBron when he talks about him in his game today and the yesteryears. But Nick Wright couldn't help himself. And he took the chance to make his case for why him scoring 40,000 points has to put him above Jordan in the GOAT case. And I'm gonna let y'all hear what he had to say when he was speaking to Chris Broussard. And then Chris Broussard shoots back at him of why he thought the reasoning Nick Wright gave was ridiculous. Take a listen.
LeBron will finish this season with 8,000 more points than Jordan. The longevity argument, not even close. But how much do you think this should factor into the GOAT debate?
I don't think it's certainly not the deciding factor. If it were, Kareem would have been viewed as the GOAT. I mean, he was by far the highest scorer, you know, until LeBron broke his record. And Nick, in sports, we tend to take peak over longevity. Right. As long as your peak was in a substantial career. You can't have a great peak for 4 years and, oh, he's the GOAT. No. Yeah. As long as you had a legitimately lengthy career, we've always tended to say peak over longevity. In football, Emmitt Smith's the leading rusher. Very few people think he's the best ever. Some will say he's the best running back, but most will take a Barry Sanders, a Jim Brown, Eric Dickerson, or somebody else because their peaks were higher. Yeah. In baseball, Hank Aaron obviously was the home run leader until Barry Bonds, but Hank Aaron never hit 50 home runs in a year. So he was called the home run king because of the longevity, but a Babe Ruth,
he wasn't called
Barry
the best
Bonds,
baseball player.
Right. He was never viewed as the GOAT.
I agree with
Right. So I think in that regard, even the NBA, Magic Johnson, who I think is by far the greatest passer ever, is 7th in assists. Now, we get his career was cut short, yeah, but still, I think, you know, these are examples of how we view peak over longevity.
I agree with you on that. Where I will push back and where I don't even think I'm pushing back against you. Yeah. Here is, I think, the simplest way to put it. There is an argument to be made that LeBron's peak was higher than Jordan's. There is an argument to be made that Jordan's peak was higher. But I will put the 27-game winning streak year, the year he was Finals MVP, League MVP, second place Defensive Player of the Year, and talking about the Heat in 2013, or 2014, up against anything Jordan ever did. I will. And so at least can we agree that there is an argument that LeBron at his peak is as good as Jordan at his peak?
I think
you don't think there's an argument?
I think Jordan's peak was better.
Okay.
Now close.
Okay.
But he was Defensive Player of the Year and MVP.
I understand, and LeBron was 3 votes shy of Defensive Player of the Year and MVP.
He
that's fine, but that's the.
And 6 championships in 8 years. I'll even give you the 8 years.
So now you're talking about like extended peak. Not singular peak. So like you're calling peak the exact amount of time that Jordan won championships.
No.
Well, you just said 6 and 8 years, but that's
that's part of it. But the years before he won the championship, his peak was high too.
So
now LeBron, we're talking about. I mean, if you're going to talk about the years before LeBron won championships,
well, because the MVP and Defensive Player of the year was what year? The
80.
You're right. He did not. Right. So
sure.
not
he didn't
Jordan's
win the championship
peak.
that
there, it's weird. So like I don't know. We're kind of confusing it. That's fine. I think the peaks are similar. The longevity's not. Mm-hmm. So the longevity's not a close call. LeBron is unquestionably
88 was the year. 88,
right. So was that his peak or not?
It was during his peak.
Okay. So Jordan's peak was when?
But Nick, see,
hold on. No,
the longevity.
I'm just asking.
But the longevity argument can work against LeBron too. Because the longer you play and less you win championships.
Okay.
Hold on, let me state it. Jordan won 6 championships in 15 years. And that's in counting 2 when he played like 17 and 18 games, okay? But 15 years, that's a championship every 2.5 years. LeBron has won 4 in 20 years. That's 1 every 5 years. Jordan won it twice the rate. And if LeBron keeps playing and doesn't win, it's going to be like it's like a Wilt Chamberlain. Like the numbers are outstanding. He's rewriting the individual record book. But when you talk about the winning, he didn't win close to as much as Jordan.
So when you say 6 and 15 years, we're not counting the years Jordan. Like it's not 15.
I'm counting championships. I'm not counting appearances in the finals.
No, hold on. I'm talking about 15 years. I'm the 15 years that you're counting is not 15 consecutive years.
No, it's the 15 years, 15 seasons he played basketball.
Right, but that's
Why
not 15 years in a row.
The years he was president of the Wizards?
No, because he stopped playing and then went back to basketball and stopped playing and went back to basketball. So I'm just asking, in your opinion, if LeBron James had retired from 17 to 19, and then also, by the way, retired right after his 1 championship with the Lakers, he would have a better GOAT case.
It'd be sick, though,
because
if he played,
then he had 4 in 16 years.
That is totally not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they both played a certain amount of seasons.
No, I get it.
All right?
But
I'm not counting retirement.
No, I understand
Because I could sit here and say Jordan would have won 8 had he not retired. I'm not going to say that.
That's not what I'm trying to. That's not what I'm trying to say. But what you said at the end there is somehow that if LeBron keeps playing at this level longer,
if he has 4 championships in 23 seasons,
right? So if he,
how are you going to compare that to Michael Jordan winning 6?
So again, and you're 15. Not a count the rings guy, but everything you've said here has been the rings.
No, because it's dominance. It's dominance. Like right now, LeBron is playing great. Mm-hmm. Is he playing close to what he did when he was at his peak?
No, of course not.
Why? How do we know that? Because the numbers are the same.
Because we can watch him play.
We can look at the wins and losses too.
Sure, yeah.
I do think it helps LeBron's case slightly for the GOAT case of being the greatest of all time. At the same time, it also hurts.
No! Oh, shit! Say it again. Say something else. Oh! Say something else.
I think it helps because it's something that no one has ever done before. I mean, most people did not think that record was going to be broken, except from a couple people. People thought Jordan might break it, but Jordan kept retiring. Jordan retired, 3 times? Came back at 95, and only played 17 games, whatever that hurt. So that hurt him for his chase. If you look at a lot of the stats, though, with Jordan, with his scoring, he reached those scoring milestones almost quicker than anybody except for Wilt Chamberlain. LeBron was just younger with a lot of those milestones. He didn't reach the milestone quicker as far as specialists, except when you're talking about age, because he came in the league at 18. So, of course, that makes sense. But longevity, I don't think, is a fruitful reason when it comes to argument against Jordan of why he should be the GOAT. Let me tell you a few reasons why. Because Kareem, let's be honest. Yes, there's a few out there that consider Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to be the GOAT. And some will say it's because of the scoring record, and he was a prolific scorer through most of his career. But you know, when they were mentioning Jordan being the GOAT, it wasn't even after the 6 championships. Some people were mentioning it in the 80s, before he even won one. And it wasn't as loud, of course, until he won a championship, but there were some murmurs. 88, where he won Defensive Player of the Year, season MVP, dunk contest winner. I won't really include that for a GOAT argument. And he had his team ready to try to play for a championship. Of course, the Detroit Pistons knocked him out. He was All-Star MVP that year too. But his play on the court, what he was doing for what little he was given, the impact that he made on the league. I think he was, I don't know if that was the year he scored 35 points per game. No, I don't think it was. But he won the scoring championship that year. I think he was probably scoring somewhere in the 33s or so like that, but high scoring that year. So to be able to do it on both ends of the court, defense and offense, takes a lot of energy to do all that. But people were mentioning, like I said, him having a case for being the GOAT before he won a championship. Then when he won 1, then 2, and then 3 championships. When he retired the first go round, people were like, oh yeah, he's definitely the GOAT. And you know, I'm gonna give some of the arguments I hear when people try to go against it. And it's because some people don't put context behind it, and I understand. Some people are like, well, you only had 3 championships, so you can't be the GOAT because look how many Bill Russell has. Bill Russell, yes, had impact. Bill Russell probably averaged about 15 points a game, though. And if I remember correctly, Bill Russell for a center didn't even shoot 50%. I don't even think he shot 45% if I got my numbers right. If I got that right. So, yes, he impacted the defensive end, and that's about it. He scored a little bit here and there. But he didn't affect both ends of the floor at the same rate as he did on the defensive end. 11 championships, that helps his case, but not enough. So, then you got Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain scored 50 points a game one season. Same season where he scored 100 points. But Wilt, I think he only has 3 championships. So his style of play didn't impact enough to make winning a major thing for his career. Bill Russell, the buzzsaw, was in the way. So it's all about impact as well. It's not just about championships. Kareem has 5 championships. If I'm not mistaken, is it 5 or is it 6? 6. I'm sorry, he has 6. He has 5 with the Lakers, 1 with the Milwaukee Bucks. But he's not the MVP of every last one of those championships. Worthy has 1. Magic has a couple. So you can't give him the credit for all that, like he was the lead dog for all those. His name was the captain, but he wasn't the lead charge of all those championships runs. Hell, Magic Johnson helped him win the first one with the Lakers as a rookie. So I don't put Kareem in that category because he wasn't the lead in all those championships. His style play helped win the championships, but he wasn't the front runner for all of them. Great player, no doubt. He has a case for being the GOAT, so I don't negate nobody who believes Kareem is there. Just my personal choice, I wouldn't put him in there. It's top 5 for me. LeBron, I think LeBron I think he has a bigger case than damn near anybody to be the GOAT. I just don't think he's above Jordan. He has the biggest impact of damn near anybody. He won all the finals MVPs for every finals that he won. All the ones that he won. But he's 4-6. He would have to win 2 more to even make it to 500. I'm not rewarding the guy so he can be second place more times than he's first place. I'm just not doing it. I'm not rewarding the guy just because he went to the finals 10 times. Did you finish the job? No, he didn't. I wouldn't reward the Buffalo Bills who went to the Super Bowl 4 times but lost 4 times. I'm not putting them on none of the greatest teams of all times because you didn't do anything great those 4 times you went. I'm not doing it, okay? Jerry West, he went to 9 finals, 1-8. The man is the logo of the NBA. I'm not giving him no credit for going there 9 times. He lost 8 times. Won once. Mr. Clutch. Not sure why he gets that name because it doesn't sound like he's clutch 9 times. 1 time, you're clutch out of that. Let's put it this way. With the longevity argument. Won 4 times. This is where it's going to hurt for LeBron, I feel. Jordan played 15 years. 13 years with the Bulls, 2 with the Wizards. And you heard Chris Broussard speak on it. He won a championship like every 2.5 years. LeBron, if he keeps playing, if he plays 23 years, 24 years, and only comes out with 4 championships, it's like, what have you been doing all this time? Has your winning not had enough time to impact to get 6 championships? You had more attempts than Jordan to get it. It'd be like you going to college and we celebrating you going to college for 20 years to get a couple degrees. Jordan only went to college the 4 years he was supposed to go, and he got the 2 degrees he was supposed to get. Maybe even an extra one on top of it. He had more impact in a shorter amount of time than LeBron did. I'm glad you got your degree and you can finally apply it to a job of your choosing. But damn, man, it took you forever to graduate. So even if he gets one by year 23, 24, whatever, what took you so long? And it's not like you've been playing on some bad teams, man. So I don't want to hear that because you are the GM everywhere you go. So you've been playing on some good teams. I don't want to hear the other argument where people are going to end up saying, well, he ran into the Golden State Warriors. They had a super team. Jordan didn't have to go through that. You know why Jordan didn't have to go through that? Because he was the super team. He made them the super team. And I don't want to hear that even way, but you want to say, well, the Warriors had Draymond, Steph, Clay, at one point, Durant. Okay. Let's just say that's a fair argument, okay? Didn't the Miami Heat play Dirk Nowitzki? How many All-Stars that year were on that team? The big 3 of the Miami Heat, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, and LeBron James versus Dirk Nowitzki, the lone All-Star. Jason Kidd was not an All-Star, and he was on the downside of his career. And they couldn't beat him. Dirk Nowitzki found a way. So I don't want to hear that. When you're good enough, you find a way. Jordan played some great teams too. 60-win teams. Seattle was like a 64, 65-win team. Utah Jazz, 60-plus win team. the 2 times they faced him. Phoenix Suns, I think they were a high 50-win team facing up against Charles Barkley, the MVP. Portland Trailblazers, probably favored as number 2 to go up against Jordan. Magic Johnson, still in his prime regardless, who was the MVP the year before that, and I think was number 2 in MVP voting that year, faced him, beat him in the 91 finals. It's what the impact you have during your career. It's not all about longevity. I think it helps a little bit, but the longer you stay, it also hurts. This is not the reason why Tom Brady is considered to be the GOAT. Tom Brady is considered to be the GOAT for what he did between those lines on the field for those 20 plus years he played. He won 7 championships. Yes, he broke records, and those were all fine. Those were longevity records too. But he had a big impact during the time he played as well too. That's why he gets the GOAT case. Mahomes is at 3 championships. There are already some right now that are trying to put him above Brady. I don't agree yet. I think he has a few more years he needs to add to the mix before he can get that consideration. But I hear a lot of people say all he has to do is win maybe 5 championships altogether and they'll put him above Brady. Because some don't think he'll make it 20 plus years, but it's about the impact that he has. Brady, he didn't, the first couple championships, I don't think he had Super Bowl MVP for that. I know the first one he didn't. He wasn't the prime cause for every Super Bowl, but you know, quarterbacks in the NFL are a little bit different. Regardless of how well everyone else plays, a quarterback gets the lion's share of the accolades when they win the Super Bowl, or any game for that matter. Everything goes through the quarterback, no matter if he played like crap or not. And the defense could have played great. Quarterback's gonna get all the praise. So, but it's all about the impact. No one cares all that much about longevity when you want to make the case for who's the GOAT. Another prime example, they mentioned it in there. Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith is my dog. One of my favorite running backs. But I ain't gonna lie to myself and say he's the best of all time. He has the all-time rushing record. Here's the thing about it though. Getting these records don't tell how great your skill was. Your impact does. It tells maybe how well you took care of your body. There's no denying it. LeBron is taking great care of his body. I don't know. He said he spent $2 million taking care of his body. I don't know what kind of chicken and rice he eating, what kind of machines he's working on, what kind of trainers he's working with that cost $2 million. For now, I'm going to take his word for it. The reason why I'm pausing there, and you can probably read it between the lines, I'm going to take his word for it. $2 million in training. So he has just figured out a great workout regimen that's allowed him to play this long. Everybody else has not figured out yet. Although players are playing at a longer age now and having longer careers than ever before, he's done it at a higher level longer than anyone. So I give him that. But back to my what I was talking about with Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith. Barry Sanders, to me, is the greatest running back of all time. Some people say Jim Brown. And their careers ended early, but how much impact? Barry Sanders even got a Super Bowl. It was the impact that he had during his short career. And people noticed by stats and career averages that he was clearly better than Emmitt Smith. Barry Sanders is my guy. I put him above Emmitt Smith. And you know, Cowboys is my team. But Barry Sanders the impact that he had between that short career that he had. That's why I give it to him. So, and LeBron, like I said, he's the closest one. He's right there. Like I said, he was the sole force. I don't want to say sole force because he had, Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, but he was the major force for why he won the championships he did win with the Miami Heat and the Cavaliers. He had Kyrie then too, and then the Lakers. He has Anthony Davis. He won the one in the bubble championship. He was the MVP of all of them. So the driving force, kudos to him. And that's why I put him at number 2. Jordan, man, half the time in the finals, Pippen didn't even show up. He showed up on the defensive end for the most part, but offensively, check the numbers. Check the numbers. Check the playoff numbers. You ain't even got to check the finals. Most of the time, Pippen scoring numbers dipped. Field goal percentage dipped. Jordan rose in the playoffs, rose in the finals. LeBron had an easier path to the finals. The weak East he was in. Yes, he had some hard teams he had to go up against once he got to the finals, but I don't want to hear that because Dirk Nowitzki had a hard team he had to go up against. Miami Heat, Big 3. He got it done. No excuses. No excuses. 4-6. That's a horrible record, man. 6 versus 6-0. You've had more chances to get to 6 championships. You only got 4? No, you don't get credit for that. He doesn't get credit to being that. 23 years, if he makes it there, that's going to hurt his case to me. Karl Malone, that's another one. Karl Malone was going to break that scoring record if he hadn't gotten hurt probably the last year or gone to the Lakers as like a third option on scoring. He was right there. Very durable, scoring machine, but nobody was going to consider Karl Malone the greatest of all time. Maybe Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was on his way and then his body failed him. He was right there. But I don't know if everybody was going to consider him the GOAT. Some people do. Some people put him above Jordan. Some people put him above LeBron. And that's an argument you can have. I still would put LeBron over Kobe, just not over Jordan. I just can't go with that though, man. He's had the most impact about anybody I can name, not name Michael Jordan. And that's why I can't give it to him. Longevity in anything is going to hurt his case. The longer he goes and plays like this and not win a chip, the weaker his argument sounds. And then I have to also put this into play. It was a harder time to play in the 80s and 90s and 2000s for the short time Jordan was in the 2000s. It was a harder time to play, harder time to score. People beat you down. This is why your careers ended early, because your body had to suffer a lot. LeBron came in. It was still a little hard, but NBA worked on making it easier for the Euro players to come in here, and you see how dominant they are now. A lot of Euro players dominate the league now. There's so many Euro players in here now, they've considered making the All-Star game Team USA versus Team Euro or world team to play against them. That's how many foreigners we have playing and dominating the game now. The game, all you got to do is throw an eyelash on somebody now, and that's a foul. And for somebody like LeBron James, a hulking 260 or 70 or whatever pounds he is now, 6'8", of course he can still play like that now. That'd be like me playing against some elementary kids and their fouls mean nothing to me. I'll tear through them like nothing. Dunk all over them. I mean, people are like, how does he keep playing all these 20 years? Because they ain't nothing to me. They're like gnats. I think you got to put some context in it. The league is nowhere near as hard as it used to be. No one gets fouled. 3-point shots galore. people standing outside don't have to guard each other. Trae Young, that dude don't guard nobody. He just stands there with his hands up and lets somebody go past him. He said, all right, I'll get you on the other end. And LeBron plays no defense now. None. At one time, he would get in that chair and he would defend several positions. He may not defend every position great, because that's a myth too. He could defend 5 positions, but he won't great defending every position. But the fact he could do it, impressive. But now, LeBron said, I'll get you on the other end. That's the defense he plays, matador defense. But a lot of people do that now too. That's just the new culture. That's a new style of play. People are like, I'm just going to get a 3-pointer or easy layup, 1 or 2. Save my energy. Different times. So you're allowed to play longer because you don't have to go through the brutal beatings Jordan had to go through. Couldn't save his body and still played 82 games a season on average. It's a different time. But all in all, longevity does nothing to me to help his argument. The longer he plays and the more extended this scoring record goes out, he can score 50,000 points if he wants to. That just tells me how easy the league is that he can play that long. But that's my opinion about that.